Council.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. My name is Zulu John, Internal Auditor, MWINILUNGA Town Council.
Thank you very much. You can use the mic, the file there.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaula Chipego from Engineering Department. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hanyanga Bento Michelo, Socio-Economic Planner from MWINILUNGA Town Council.
Thank you very much. Auditor General's Office.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. MWINILUNGA Council Secretary and your team, good afternoon. And good afternoon, permanent witnesses. My name is Patricia Malaila, Director from Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, CS and the team. I'm Siwira Eddy, Principal Auditor, Solwezi Audit Office.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Apiri Stephen. I'm the Assistant Director, Solwezi Provincial Audit Office. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Lovinda Sinyani from the Planning and Research Department in the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Thank you.
Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, members of the committee. Good afternoon, the Council present. My name is Achuya Davis, Assistant Director, Local Authorities Department, Minister of Finance, National Planning, Audit Division, and you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. MWINILUNGA Town Council, good afternoon and you're welcome. My name is Joyce Kuvansa from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Chair, good afternoon. Good afternoon to the honorable members of the committee. Good afternoon, colleagues. MWINILUNGA, you're welcome. My name is Mutali Mishek. I'm from the Local Government Service Commission. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Secretariat.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Simalole Namwenga from the Office of the Clerk.
Good afternoon, Chair. Emmanuel Wale from the Office of the Clerk, National Assembly.
Thanks very much. Honorable members of Parliament, Honorable Mtelo.
Chair, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
MWINILUNGA. Good afternoon. So there is Kaseseli. Mutelo Mishek is my name.
Is that part of your name?
Mutelo Mishek is my name. MP for Mitete. And a member to this, your committee.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Next time you bring another name, I'll send you out. Okay. Honorable New God's Mine. Honorable from Fumba.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson.
Good afternoon,
and good afternoon, Honorable members of Parliament, including our member who is sitting virtually, Honorable Kampamba. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, our permanent witnesses. And good afternoon, Secretariat. Good afternoon to MWINILUNGA, the people from the land of plenty. The only province in Zambia which supplies water to Siavonga. My name is Elliot Kamondo, Member of Parliament from Fumbwe constituency.
Chair, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
You have seen what these primitive people have done to me.
Good afternoon, MWINILUNGA. Good afternoon, permanent witnesses. My name is Mulunda, Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you.
We have Kampamba.
Mitete. Oh.
Already all done.
Okay. Honorable Kampamba. Honorable Kampamba. Okay, sure.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Honorable Kampamba Mlenga. I am Member of Parliament for the good people of Kalulushi. And you are most welcome, witness.
Thank you.
CS and your team, my name is Mishek Mtetu Wanyambose. I represent the good people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province of Zambia, and I chair this committee. Okay, not yet. As per custom and the procedure, before we start our meeting, we would like to confer immunity on you under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, meaning that whatever you say before this committee cannot be used against you in the courts of law or outside this meeting. As long as you give factual information. However, if you willfully choose to give false information or mislead this committee, the same Cap 12 can be used against you. So it is our belief that we are going to share factual information that we can use to prepare our report that we shall present in the main house. With that said, it's time for you to present your report.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, MWINILUNGA would like to start by conveying his condolences to the Speaker of the National Assembly on the passing of the clerk, and also condolences on the demise of our Republican President, the sixth one, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And with your indulgence, Chair, I would like to submit an addendum to our area submitted reports. We've come with an addendum which I think can be handed over to Secretariat for distribution.
No problem, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair. In presenting, Chair, I will assume the tradition of reading the query and proceeding to the responses.
You read the title of the query, then the management's response,
Thank you, Chair.
Action taken, then remedial measures in that order.
In our main report, Chair, we go to page 1 on specific audit findings, failure to follow tender procedures. Our response is on page 2, management response. Cause of query, contracts awarded without following tender procedures amounting to 1,996,503. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation and further state that the failure to avail the documents to the auditors at the time was due to the absence of officers in the procurement unit. Action taken, the documents have since been located and are available for verification. See Appendix 1. Chairperson, there is an addendum to Appendix 1 that is also being distributed for additional evidence. Remedial measure, management will endeavor that documents are availed during audit periods. The second query is failure to claim liquidated damages from terminated contracts. Management response, cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's finding and wishes to submit that at the time of audit, management did not claim liquidated damages from the terminated contracts. However, action taken, management has since written demand letters to all affected contractors demanding for the payment of liquidated damages. To this effect, Chair, see Appendix 2. Remedial measures, management will ensure that all contracts are properly managed now that the Council has received additional workforce in engineering and legal departments. The next query, Chair, is irregular charge of value added tax. Management response. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that the query was caused by management basing the payments on to contractors on the submitted Zambia Revenue Authority tax clearance certificate at the procurement stage. Action taken. Zambia Revenue Authority to clarify on the tax registration of some contractors. Further, management has written to the affected contractors requesting them to pay the value-added tax. See Appendix 3. Additionally, Chair, there's a submission of additional evidence in the addendum report to this query. Remedial measures, management will ensure and continue that vetting of contractors with Zambia Revenue Authority is done before making of payments. The next query is on page 5, irregular payment of allowances to conduct due diligence on procurement of a grader. Management response, cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to submit that it is a requirement that due diligence is conducted for quality assurance of all high-value procurements to assess the capacity of after-sale service. Consequently, a team of officers were appointed and authorized to carry out this activity. Action taken, management has not taken any action as the activity was authorized and sanctioned as required. The team included a technical person who was heading engineering department at the time to provide technical advice. See Appendix 4 to this effect. Remedial measure, management will endeavor to follow the guidelines in procuring processes. The next query, Chair, is failure to implement projects on electricity provision to public institutions. Our response, cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the project could not be implemented as the allocated funds were inadequate after RIA conducted an assessment. To this effect, Chair, we've attached Appendix 5. Action taken, management secured additional funds from the 2024 CDF allocation and has continued engaging with RIA with a view to implement the project. Management will endeavor to implement these projects within this year. The next question is construction of a 1x3 CRB at Mbaya Primary School. Management response, cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the contractor left the site after being harassed by the community around the site. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 6, and further to Appendix 6, Chair, there is additional evidence in the addendum report. Action taken, management wishes to indicate that the community was engaged and advised against such actions. However, the contractor was also warned against a continued absence from site, and subsequently, the contract was terminated. The project is currently under procurement stage. As a remedial measure, management will endeavor to improve on contract management. Page 7, Chair, infrastructure community project status review, table number 3. Chair, the query is on tabular format and our response has followed the same format, and our response begins on page 10. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that the cause of query and action is as tabulated below. So I'll go entry by entry, Chair. Number 1, the construction of the 1x3 CRB at Karusha Primary School. Cause of query, the delay was due to poor state of the road. Action taken, the contract was terminated, re-advertised and awarded to a new contractor who has since completed the works. The second, construction of a staff house at Kanikochi Rural Health Center. Cause of query, it was delayed due to action taken. The contractor was engaged and went back on site to complete the project. The project has since been completed. Number 3, construction of the staff house at Kamasombo Primary School. The variation order was the variation order approval took time to be completed. Action taken, the project, Chair, has since been completed. Number 4, rehabilitation of the mother shelter at MWINILUNGA. The delay was caused by ZESCO, who could not supply the service cable on time. The connection of supply was part of the works to be done by the contractor. The mother shelter has since been connected to ZESCO supply and is now currently in use. Number 6, construction of Chibuika Community Hall. Cause of query, the contract was terminated due to poor workmanship. Action taken, a contractor has since been engaged and the project is at 85% complete. Number 7, construction of a staff house at Kambimba Primary School. The delay was caused by the change of the location of the project, which is hard to reach. Action taken, the material schedule has been formulated and management will implement the project under labor-based method. To this effect, Chair, we've attached Appendix 7, and additionally in our addendum there is additional evidence submitted. Remedial measures, management will endeavor to improve on contract management systems. The next queries are on page 12. Status of community projects. And our responses are on page 13. Management response. Management acknowledges the findings and wishes to state that the cause of query and action are established. Number 1, Chair, is construction of maternity health wing at Nyang'ombe Health Center. Cause of query, the delay was due to changes in the design. The structure, Chair, has since been completed as action taken. The next query, Chair, was the construction of Kampemba 1x3 classroom block. The delay was due to changes in the design, and as an action taken, the structure has since been completed. The third one is the construction of maternity wing at Nyang'ombe. The cause of query, the design was changed and the contract sum attracted a variation. Action taken, the documents, contract, and approval letter are available for verification. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 8. As a remedial measure, management will endeavor to improve on its contract management systems. On page 14, Chair, is selection of eligible learners. Management response, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's submission and wish to state that this was due to wrong information obtained from learners during verification by the Office of the Auditor General. Action taken. Management carried out an assessment and...
Sorry, that one has been resolved.
Thank you, Chair. We proceed to page 15 under cross-cutting issue. The first one being the budget, funding and expenditure. Management response, cause of query. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that 826,846 was not part of the retained funds, but instead it was a balance from the 2023 CDF allocation, which was later received in January 2024. Out of this balance, only 115,612 kwacha for Tringwe was retained by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development as insurance cover for the CDF monitoring vehicle. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 10. Action taken, the financial records have since been recorded according to the guidance from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Remedial measure, management will continue recording the classification of funds according to the ministerial guidance. The next query, Chair, is retention for chief's palaces, an amount of 826,846 kwacha.
You skip that one.
Thank you, Chair. We go to Appendix 2, total unspent funds. Management response, cause of query. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds were committed to the running projects and programs under the 2023 allocation. Action taken, the funds have since been spent. To this effect, Chair, we've attached Appendix 11. Management, as a remedial measure, will ensure that the funds are spent within the respective financial years. 2.1, unspent funds on projects. Cause of query, management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds of 4,533,904 kwacha were committed to the running projects under the 2023 allocation. The funds, Chair, have since been spent accordingly. To this effect, referred to Appendix 11. As a remedial measure, management will ensure that the funds are spent within the respective financial years. Chair, the next clarification is on Appendix 2.2 and spent funds under empowerment grants. Management wishes to acknowledge the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds of 1,457,080 kwacha were committed to grants beneficiaries under the 2023 allocation. Chair, is an action taken, the funds have since been dispersed to the respective beneficiaries. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 11. As a remedial measure, management will ensure that the funds are spent within the respective financial year. The next is 2.3, unspent funds under empowerment grants. Chair, I seek your indulgence, member can also skip this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Skip it.
2.4, Chair, is secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Management response. As a cause of query, management wishes to report that some students were under the 2022 and 2023 intakes, which implied that the funds for all the terms be available for each academic year. The academic calendar ends in April and not in December, hence the need to reserve funds for their term 3, which ran from January to April 2024. As an action taken, management has intensified sensitizations of skills and secondary school bursaries so that any excess funds are absorbed within the financial year. 2024 has since recorded an increase from 341 in 2023 to 401 in 2024. To this effect, Chair, we've attached Appendix 11. As a remedial measure, management will endeavor to capture all eligible students and learners for sponsorship within the allocated funds. 2.5, unspent funds under administrative costs. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds were committed to monitoring projects and programs under the 2023 allocation. Action taken, the funds have since been spent. Management has since spent the funds according to the set guidelines. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 11. As a remedial measure, management will ensure that the funds are spent within the respective financial period. The next one is Appendix 3, 2022 Community Projects. Management response. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to state that the delay in completion of the projects was due to poor state of roads to some sites. This resulted in failure to deliver projects on time by the contractors who faced accessibility challenges. Some contracts were subsequently terminated due to poor performance. Action taken, management wishes to report that the outstanding 8 projects have since been completed and handed over. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 12. As a remedial measure, Chair, management has enhanced project monitoring and supervision. This has been made possible by the addition of new staff in the engineering department and legal unit. This will result in the implementation of projects within the planned financial period. The next one, Chair, is Appendix 4, 2023 Community Projects. Management response. Management notes the auditor's submission and wishes to state that there was delay in completion of projects, and as an action taken, management wishes to report that out of the 18 projects, 11 have since been completed and handed over as tabulated below. The first one was the completion of the CRB at Nswana Kudia Secondary School. The status is that the project is complete and has since been handed over and currently in use. The second one is the completion of the CRB at Kampemba Secondary School. The project is complete and in use. The third one is completion of an ablution block at Lunga Secondary School. The project has progressed and stands at 70%. Roofing, plastering and metalworks is done. Monitoring will continue to ensure that the project is successfully completed. The fourth one is rehabilitation of a 1x3 CRB at Kalumbinga Primary School. Chair, the project is done and it's in use. The fifth one is rehabilitation of the 1x4 CRB at Mulumbi Primary School. All works were done and it is currently in use. Completion of the staff house at Nyamikanda Primary School. The project was funded up to window level. Additional funding was sourced for the completion and it's currently at procurement stage. Procurement of desks. Pardon, Chair, there's numbering mix up there. It was supposed to be 7. Procurement of desks. A total of 3,068 desks were procured under the 2023 CDF allocation. All the 3,068 desks have been delivered and in use. Completion of the maternity wing and Nyang'ombe health post. The project is 100%. The works have since been closed. I think there's a typo here, Chair. Completion of the maternity health wing at Swenta health post. The project is 100% complete. However, the site, the structure is not yet in use. The next one is completion of a maternity wing at Kapundu health post. The project is also at 100% complete. Construction of an ablution block at MWINILUNGA local court. Chair, on this one, the funds were reallocated to other needy projects. This was because the project was allocated funds by the Ministry of Justice. And the project has since been completed by the Mother Ministry. Number 11 is procurement of a motor vehicle for police. The vehicle was bought and handed over and it is currently in use. Construction of the mechanized water system at Kanyama Secondary School. The pipe network from the source to the school has been successfully been installed and the school is receiving water. The previous challenges, Chair, have since been resolved. The next one is the provision of piped water in Kabanda compound. The project is at 95%. The only remaining works are civil works, that is the construction of inspection chambers. Monitoring will continue to ensure that all the remaining works are done, Chair. Procurement of earth-moving equipment. The motor grader was procured and commissioned. The equipment is currently in use. Repair of community radio station. The money was channeled to the rehabilitation of Kanongesha Road project, which has since been graded to full stretch. The only remaining works are graveling and stone feeding in some portions. The works, Chair, will resume soon when we get additional equipment. Construction of Chief's Palace. The project is progressing well, Chair. So far, substructure, superstructure, roofing, ceiling board, electrical fitting, plumbing.
You can skip the last 2.
Thank you very much, Chair. We move on to 24. Appendix 5, analysis of performance vis-a-vis youth, women, and community grants. Management response. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds of 1,457,800 kwacha were committed grants and beneficiaries under 2023. Chair, there is a similar response before this one. I can skip?
Skip it.
Thank you. We go to Appendix 8, performance analysis vis-a-vis soft loans. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the unspent funds of 1,361,939 kwacha were committed to the loan beneficiaries under the 2023 allocation, whose applications were under vetting by the bank at that time. As an action taken, management wished to report that the loans were since paid in February of 2024. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 11. As a remedial measure, Chair, management will continue engaging the bank to ensure that the vetting process is expedited so that disbursements are made within the reasonable time. Appendix 9 is failure to recover loans, Chair. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the failure to recover loans was caused by the non-availability of the status reports from the bank. The status report is a basis upon which those that are not remitting could be detected and thus followed up. As an action taken, Management wishes to report that the bank has since commenced the submission of the loan status reports to Council, and management has identified and engaged those that are in default. To this effect, we've attached Appendix 14. As a remedial measure, management will continue engaging the bank for timely submission of status reports. Additionally, management will ensure that the loan beneficiaries will continue to be engaged for prompt repayments of the loans. We move on to Appendix 10. Secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that most of the pupils on CDF bursary had not yet completed their secondary education. Furthermore, most of those under skills development were still in college at the time of audit as they were pursuing their studies. Action taken, management wishes to state that all those that are in colleges and secondary school are well tracked and paid for on time till they complete their studies. As a remedial measure, management will ensure that colleges and secondary schools are paid on time and all those that have completed are well tracked. Appendix 11, Chair, is beneficiaries of secondary school boarding and skills development who did not report. Management acknowledges the observation of the auditor and wishes to state that the payments are only made for the learners and students that report for learning or training during that particular term. Action taken, management wishes to state that payments are only made for students that have reported for that particular term after verification. As a remedial measure, management will continue conducting verifications before payments are made to colleges and schools. Appendix 13, Chair, is an analysis of performance of desks. Management wishes to state that the variance of 5,380 kwacha was a result of the difference between the amounts budgeted for and for the procurement of the 3,068 desks and the contract sum. Action taken, the targeted number of desks were procured and delivered. A remedial measure, management will always ensure that it implements the projects within the budgeted amounts. Submitted for consideration of your committee, Chair.
Thank you very much, Council Secretary, for that presentation. Honorable members, it's now time for points of clarifications. Honorable Member for Sevonga.
Chairperson, seeking a clarification on page 21.
Let's go to page 21.
On the community, 2023 community projects.
Yes, Honorable.
Yes, sir. These were projects that were approved by the ministry or approved by the local government. Local government officer 1880. I'm looking at the time, the table. The table says 18 projects approved under 2023 CDF, then implemented none, work in progress none, outstanding 18. I wanted to find out, Chairperson, what really was the challenge for these projects not to be implemented even when they were approved, and there was no work in progress until when auditors came. What was the biggest challenge, Chairperson?
Council Secretary, when were you audited?
Chair, we were audited in 2024 for the 2023 period.
Which month?
I will allow my predecessor to answer that one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Chair. We were actually audited in March 2024.
March 2024?
Yes, Chair.
The question from Honorable Member for Sevonga is that from January to March 2024, January 2023, you had approved 18 projects. Out of 18, you implemented none, 0. Work in progress 0. Outstanding 18. What was the challenge?
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, As an institution, we had the challenge of unavailability of director of works, or in short, technical personnel. From February 2023 to November, if my memory serves me well, the institution was functioning without the director of engineering, neither the deputy. So, Chair, as an alternative measure, we had to upgrade a gentleman who was serving as the senior building inspector, who is here with us, and that's the person who was learning engineering department. Additionally, Chair, we had taken advantage of the existence of the infrastructure department, which was being headed by a gentleman who was qualified, of course. But at the time when we had written to him to seek for his services, barely a week after receiving that letter, he went on leave to attend to family matters. So in short, Chair, it's the inadequacy of staff, particularly the technical ones, that should have led to this process of implementing the works. I submit, Chair.
The one you had upgraded, he never knew how to prepare the engineer's estimates. He was not competent to do that.
Chair, thank you so much. The gentleman really tried.
He tried. There was nothing that was implemented, zero. What did he try?
Chair, though the status as indicated by audit is that nothing was implemented, Chair, I think something was done on the ground. But what led to this position, Chair, is the non-availability of technical staff, particularly in the engineering department. The engineering department was literally dead.
I would plead that you answer questions. We know you have stated very well. The question was, the person that you had requested to sit in that vacuum, he didn't have the competence to do the estimates.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, his specialization is, just as I have stated, this substantive position then was the senior building inspector. So I think we had a gap there.
And we were looking at buildings, he couldn't. Honorable Mulunda.
Chairperson, even as we are getting the responses from our former CS. CS, 2023, the whole 2023 up to the time in 2024 you were audited. That was in March. Like my chairperson is putting it, from January to December, nothing. January to March, nothing, because the auditors came through around March. Now, are you able to, because I know as CS, you have human resource returns where you indicate the critical positions that are missing or that are vacant at your station. Would you indicate how many times you approached the commission, because the commission is here, how many times you approached them in 2023 to cover up, because CDF came and we needed that person in that position? Would you be able to indicate the responses, how many times you engaged them and the responses you are getting?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, apart from the routine submission of staff returns, I think about 4 times we wrote to the commission, and every time that we were writing, we were copying PLG, was our MP. Fortunately, I think the 4th letter was responded to. We had received a gentleman who came to head the engineering department by the name of Mr. Mioba, an engineer. But that engineer again didn't stay with the institution for long. Barely 4 months. Yeah. He just worked for 4 months and resigned. So we had to revert to the situation where we had no director of engineering. So the Law Government Service Commission actually responded, and again we stayed for I think 8 months or so after the resignation of the said Mr. Mioba, an engineer. until they responded and brought the gentleman that is here with us, Mr. Moakova. So in summarizing my submission, Chair, we made efforts apart from routine submission of our staff returns. We wrote about 4 times to the Commission and they responded. Thank you so much. I submit.
When was the last one which they responded? Which is it 2024 or within 2023?
Thank you so much, Chair. In 2023, that was almost December, yes, they responded. A gentleman was deployed by the name of Mr. Mio, the one I just mentioned. And after his resignation again, they responded. They brought another gentleman by the name of Mr. Kola, the engineer. I submit.
So the time that the auditors were coming, Mr. Mio was there?
Chair, the time that the auditors were coming, Mr. Mioba was not there. And again, Chair...
Sorry, because you said he came in December 2023 and he stayed for 4 months. December plus 4 months is going to...
Chair, the auditors did not find Mr. Mioba. They came at a time when he had resigned.
No, me, I'm asking you a question. From January 2023, it's very simple. From January 2023, so he was there for 4 months, meaning that January, February, March, up to April, Mr. Mio was there, although you were just giving, stating issues that you are not, you have not verified. Let's ask the ones who are whispering. You have a better response, sir.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm looking at the 4 months period. It must have come in December 2023, and he left by March, Mr. Mio, Engineer Mio.
Okay.
Yeah. So the time I think the time the auditors were coming, he had already left.
Okay. Okay, I think we move to a short one or this one.
Yeah, we just want to get things clarified. Because these projects were already approved in 2023. So even when Mr. Mioba was coming in, the projects were already, approved. So he stayed for, is it 3-4 months without, because he is saying work in progress, there was nothing. He couldn't start anything the time he was there. It's just a bonus question.
Yeah, you see.
Chair, not necessarily that nothing was happening on the ground. Chair, we had started implementing the projects, even in the absence of key staff like the engineers. Just with the use of the senior building inspector, as well as drawing from the membership of the Technical Appraisal Committee, we were able to start some works, not necessarily that nothing literally was happening on the ground.
So when you look at this report that we are reading ourselves, you saw that they had written 0 work in progress, 0 works done. Why didn't you raise it with them?
Thank you so much, Chair. Just as I've come as a predecessor to the current, and then at the time when this audit was being released and worked on, I had already left to my new station. But again, just maybe to give backup, with your permission, Chair, I would like to ask the gentleman we are using as acting director engineering, maybe to say something regarding the projects that were ongoing during the time of audit. I submit, Chair.
So we don't need him this time. The issue is very simple. We are trying to clarify here. The report here that has been submitted, this is a public document, that from January 2023 to March 2024, MWINILUNGA Council had not had approved 18 projects. Out of 18, they had implemented 0, work in progress 0, and outstanding 18. And here the Council Secretary was reading. We also read the same. Have you seen the report on page 21? So the question, you are saying, no. Despite what was depicted, the situation was different. Now we are wondering, what did you tell us? To believe you when you had that opportunity as a council, a team, to clarify these matters with the auditors whom you could have taken to sites. This is work in progress. This is work in progress. This is work in progress. But now you are changing, telling us that no, what thing there is not the correct thing. So we don't know what do we be, whom do we. This report from auditors becomes our report. This is our report. And that's why you saw some of the issues have been listed. Before you came, we said skip, you have resolved these matters because you had engaged them. So in this particular case, you never did that. So what do we believe? We are writing a report.
Chair, thank you so much. Yes, there was an omission on our part not to follow up with the auditors, but the correct position, Chair, on the ground is that we commence the implementation of these projects. And if given chance or time to the current management chair, I think adequate evidence can be provided. Because even I can remember, Chair, your committee visited our district. Among the projects that we had taken your committee to were, I think, about one that was commenced during this same period. I submit, Chair.
Okay, let's look at page 22. We interrogate now project by project. Project number 3, completion of ablution block at Lunga Secondary School. The project, the status, the project has progressed and stands at 70% roofing. Plastering, metalwork is done. Roofing, plastering, metalwork is done. It's a 70%. This is 2023, and this is 2025. What is the problem with this project? Why it has taken so long?
Chair, with your permission, allow me to ask the current director engineering maybe to help us shed more light on that. But before that, Chair, I think this is a project that was started by the school. Is it?
When did the CDF to take over?
Yes. Sorry. CDF took over in Chair, let me ask the then senior building inspector to help on that one, Chair.
Sir, help. There is a microphone somewhere there.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, thank you, Chair. Project number 3 was initially started by the school. I think they did most of works under substructure, including part of the superstructure. So CDF came in to, I think, from ring beam until to what they're supposed to complete with.
Which year?
This funding is under 2023.
Which year did the actual possession of the project?
The actual possession, Chair, should have been in 2023. I'm not so sure.
So if you're not sure, who is going to be sure? Who is going to tell us? We don't speculate here.
Sure,
you
Chair.
are the owners of this report.
Chair, the project should have started in end of 2023. That's when it actualized.
Okay, we assume it is end of 2023. Why has it taken so long? How much was allocated to it for the works that were outstanding after the community? What were the works? How much was allocated to it? And why has it taken long? This is 2025.
Chair, the first challenge that was there, I think the funding was not enough to complete the whole structure, because this is actually, at first, it was just more like a one-sided block. It's a two-in-one kind of an ablution. But then the funding that was there was not enough to complete all works.
We want to use evidence that you are going to. Don't assume. So you people from MWINILUNGA, the former council secretary, the current one, and the entire team, you don't know how much was allocated and what were the works that you can't take over a project without knowing the scope. You are taking over. Who can help?
Chair, with your permission, I wish to ask the current director engineering to come in and provide a response.
Yes, director.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will not waste much time to start because I think I cannot remember, but I can assume to say I have a problem with this project, with the contractor, because it had a few issues here and there, and I would say the funds which were allocated were not enough. And what I've done by now is that we have requested to add some money that has gone through the committee. The contractor had his side of the story. In short, we had a bit of some misunderstanding, but we have resolved, and we are just waiting for approvals of some money so that we complete this project. It had challenges. That's what I can say.
Honorable
Director, and first I want to ask CS, the former CS. I'll just push it a bit. CS, if you didn't read this report or you didn't prepare it, it's just good to say no, I didn't read or I didn't prepare, because what you submitted, you as management now, it was 0-0, and you insisted that there was something happening. We were supposed to withdraw one thing, either your submission orally or the written one, so that we are on the same page. I thought I should mention that. Coming to Director Engineering, to say no, the question from Chairperson is that how much, before you bring the addition, it was just how much you have used, where you are now seeking a recapitalization and additional funds. So what was the first amount? I think that's what you wanted to know.
Chair, may I?
Yes, yes.
I refer you to the addendum. When you go to the addendum, there's a tag written 1.5 and 1.6. When you go to it, there's a document with the heading, the approval from the POGO. So on that document from the POGO, on the on the fourth page, under serial number 6, under serial number 6,
yes.
It's page 3 of that attachment, under serial number 6. You will see under Mundwinji, completion of an ablution block at Lunga Secondary School. Then we have the approval of 235,710 ongoing project initially under labor based. So that is the amount that was allocated for completion.
This is good. Yeah. So this information should be on your fingertips. Just as good as this. So 235,710.33. That's where the substantive, or maybe the director of works now, is saying he had problems. So this contractor, up to now, what was the contract period for this contractor? What's the name of the contractor?
Chair, the name of the contractor is Cabmas. Thank you. Cabmas.
Cabmas. Okay, Cabmas. What was his contract period?
Chair, with your permission, I would like to ask the procurement officer to come in and give a response.
The contract period was 3 months, Chair. I submit.
Did you terminate, or the contract is still ongoing?
The contract is still ongoing, Chair.
From 2023? 3 months elapsed. What is the status of the contract? Extension after extension?
I think for the status, Director Engineering will be in the best position to answer that, Chair.
The status of, not of the building, but of the contract. If it's still Kabumas was supposed to, at 235 or whatever, he was supposed to complete the project. Now, the project is still ongoing. It's just a 70%. I believe it is still under this first contractor, Kabumas. If it is still under Kabumas, is it abandoned? What is it? Are the works going on at this project? Director Engineering.
Thank you so much, Chair. When I came, I found that the contractor was not on site. So I engaged him and brought him back to site with the money that was sitting on the account by then. And we pushed works. That's where we did the plastering and other things that have been done. And when I looked at the contract, because he submitted for us to do a bit of some additions, because he, according to him, he did works which were not in the BOQ. So he started pushing for money. So I told him, this can only work out once funds are approved. So there, that's where we had a bit of, he had to step back, and he did an extension. Actually, the extension is almost coming to an end. That's when we are likely to terminate the contract. They just moved out of the site recently, but of course with the processes, because I've been avoiding to engage a contractor onwards before funds are approved, because I realized it was bringing problems where you promise the contractor we are going to push for this money, and the ministry don't, approve the money that you have pushed for. So
what do you mean the ministry doesn't approve?
Yeah, sometimes you find that you request to maybe, I've seen where 300 and 200 was approved. So that one, I said until this money is approved, that's when we can bring him back.
I want to learn from you. What do you mean? You request from the ministry. The money is given to you.
Yes.
The money will be allocated to you, 16 million for community projects.
Yes.
And you sit, you identify projects to be done, and the monies are allocated to projects, even before funding comes. So was this project, the additional money, was it allocated? What happens?
It has passed through the stage of the committee and the council, while we are waiting for approval.
What council?
Yeah, I mean the CDF. I submitted so that they consider it, that addition funding. So
where are the minutes of the CDF to approve? The meeting took place when? Help him. CS, if you have information, want to know the additional funding, how much it was, when did the CDF committee meet, that they approved. It was once the CDF committee they meet, it's either they approve or disapprove. So when?
Chair, there will be no additional funding from the 2025 because as a constituency we've allocated all the resources to buy earth-moving equipment. So these projects that don't have enough resources for completion will have to wait for the next cycle, which is 2026. That is the current position now. Thank you.
That's the position. Because we were wondering, you want to bring in the ministry that when you push in, they don't approve, they approve 300 instead of... You're accusing the ministry. The ministry doesn't do that. Once they pronounce the minister, the law is when there is money that is being mopped, you apply, it is given, and it's taken to the same project. So this project from 2023, it is going to be completed in 2026 or 2027. That is the position, because the money for 2025 is allocated to buy earth-moving equipment. And this could be in a project going to be pending. So now, what is the status of the contract?
No, Chair, we have not yet terminated the contract.
So,
that the extension is yet to come to an end. At that point, we are going to review. The plan is here. Most of these projects that are still ongoing may not have resources to complete them. So we will review and put the resources together. Then take a proposal for consideration. With the money that we have, what projects can we complete? We complete those. Those that will not be able to complete, we seek authority to suspend until the next cycle, so that at least we can finish some than all of them not complete. That is the plan, Chair.
Yeah, well, stipulated plan. The issue, these are 2023. To freeze them.
Chair, cost that led to every year having additional funding. I think my predecessor explained to that. Where we've reached now, as a constituency, we've said 2025 we are buying equipment. So whichever project is not complete with this original funding, we will not complete it. To allow us to pool resources and concentrate on those that are near completion, so that we can deliver some. Those that will not be able, at least we'll consider them in the future cycle.
Would it be an unfair statement to say nothing much was done for 2023? Some of the projects are not completed, meaning that even some are for 2022, 2023, then 2024, some of them. Because you are putting piecemeal, you are dealing with them, putting small amounts on them. You start this one small amount, you don't complete it, then you go to another one. That's what you are doing. And a lot after 2026, these things will be done. Could that be the position?
Yes, that is the position, because most of the projects received more than one funding. So meaning the initial funding that was allocated at the beginning was inadequate for completion, waiting for the next funding cycle to receive additional funding again. This is
which is not going to come.
In 2025, Chair, it's not coming. That one is established.
Sad. Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. Well, listening to the CDF implementation plan for MWINILUNGA is worrying, Chair, because what happens is that you've been implementing these projects in phases, community projects. And I know this could have been due to the pressure for every councillor in their ward to show that CDF is. Now you went on that trajectory. You have more than 20 wards, right?
It's one of the biggest.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest. Yeah, about 21 wards now. Imagine everybody scrambling that I need spending. Now 2022 projects carried forward to 2023 every year. As the CS says, you funding to 2025 you are buying earth-moving equipment. This earth-moving equipment will only be useful in 2026 because the procurement cycle, so in fact the rain season they might not even work, and by 2026 I'm afraid there will be no projects that will show that to be complete. Anyway, page 1, sorry. Failure to follow tender procedures. There are about 6 projects. These projects total amount 1,996,503. These projects, tender procedures, tender documentation was not availed to the auditors at the time of audit. The reasons for the missing documentation per project is as listed in the table, in table 1. But management has said the documents on page 2, the action taken, the documents have since been located and are available for verification. So it says management acknowledges the auditor's observations and wishes to state that the failure to avail the documents to the auditors at the time was due to absence of officers in the procurement unit. So if the officers in the procurement unit are not there, then it means the council is fully paralyzed. Are we saying that we are not working as a team? Because key officers, when they are not present in procurement and auditors are present, there should be certain handover notes. My question is, when key officers are not present at a station, we don't leave key notes, handover notes to anyone who can act on behalf of that particular department? Or it is the standard that if for example technical officers from head office Lusaka visit MWINILUNGA and they want to visit the works department to see the director of works, and the director of works, they're all out, then so is this a standard practice in local authorities that officers, when they're out, then they go, it's lock and key, they go with the keys?
Okay, let them respond. Yes.
My predecessor will take that one, Chair.
Chair, thank you so much for that question. Chair, it's a matter that we actually tabled as management at that time, and we admit the omission. The chair, the officers like the one who is heading the unit had to go on maternity leave, and again the person that were assigned to take care of the office in the absence of the two officers, both her and the assistant, was a stores officer, and that stores officer didn't know matters as expected. So it's a matter that we take as management. We actually admitted that omission as a Chair.
What did you attribute that to? Because we are finding a problem. Is it in other councils they seem to be quite organized? If one is out, the assistant will be there. Do you have an assistant in the assistant procurement officer?
Thank you so much, Chair. The assistant also was on leave. So just as indicated in the response, we are referring to two officers, both the head of the procurement unit as well as the assistant were out. So as management, just as an interim measure, we had to appoint the stores officer who could not handle compliance leading to such a submission.
Check the response coming from the former CS. Former CS, these people, the auditors, therefore, just as you did to appoint somebody to do that, you mean it was completely impossible for you to get hold of any of these officers just to come and give the files to the auditors?
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, it was very impossible because, like for her, she was on maternity leave, and we
she
just
went with the files home.
No. The file was remained, but contacting the officers, like in her case,
she doesn't live in Zabez, in MWINILUNGA.
No. That maternity leave meant her coming to Lusaka, where they are at least proper facilities.
You know, the standard in councils, sorry, CS, don't give you a story. The standard in councils, unless you tell me that things have changed. When one is going for maternity, they even apply. They know their dates. You know when they are leaving. They usually do handovers to their heads of departments. I'm going on leave. The following are the documents or things where I've left them at this point. Yes, maternity leave is an entitlement. Even ordinary leave is an entitlement. But do people go with the office? What type of management were you running at MWINILUNGA, where someone goes, whether they go to Zimbabwe, the office, these programs are planned. You know when someone is going, if she was going for maternity, the other person was going to remain, or if not, they hand over even to you. These are the documents. But they look, if they go for 3 months, you say, no, we can't do anything. This officer is on leave. Is that what is happening now in the councils? So what happened in this particular case, if that you are shaking your head to say no?
Chair, just as I have submitted and admitted, yes, we are long, but again, it's a matter that we tabled as management. We realized that the officer that we had assigned to take care of the unit in the absence of the substantive ones did not do as expected, Chair.
Do as expected to hand over documents. The problem was not the people who went on leave, even yourself. The problem is management. You are not a good manager. When someone is going on leave, you even know their dates. Why didn't you say, okay, you are taking leave, can you prepare the handovers? What documents are to be handed over, or programs to be handed over? Maybe we are thinking too much. What we know is not what is happening there. That's what I've asked is, what is the standard now? Once you cannot say you even tabled the management, then you wasted even time to meet management. A straightforward thing, you knew someone is leaving. Can you, and you know the competences or the qualifications of the person who is taking over. You know them better yourself as a manager. Then you say, no, we made it to express our disappointment. Oh. Did you charge that officer? Let me show you the challenges that you have on this. Let me just, on page 1, I want to CS the two council secretaries to show you why MWINILUNGA has suffered because of the principle of sharing monies. Construction of a community hall at Chiwika. When you say a hall, it's a massive project. Although it's a 4 walls, I'm sure the minimum of a hall could be maybe 15 by 12 or 15 by 20 to be called a hall. You allocated 454,000 kwacha, 118. Contractor was Chanama Limited. The observations by auditors: no site possession certificate, no solicitation documents, meaning that adverts, bid documents, evaluation reports, and no approval from the Attorney General. These documents were not there to show the auditors. 454. How do we know that 454 was adequate to build the hall? These documents were not shared to the auditors. The other project, number 2, construction of a staff house at Kamasombu Primary School by Star Brothers General Dealers. You allocated 200. When you say construction, meaning that it was from the ground. This was not a completion. That's my layman's understanding. 277,729 to this contractor. That means this contractor was satisfied that I will complete this, although the scope is not indicated there. What was observed by auditors: the first contract price was 277,700, and later a variation of 450,000 was made. No variation authority, no authority to vary. That means there are no minutes of the CDFC committee and any approvals. You varied without authority. 450,000. No variation authority, no bill of quantities, no site possession certificate, no solicitation documents, no bid documents and evaluation reports, no approval from the Attorney General. That is in MWINILUNGA. The project is going on. The other one, construction of a health post at Kanyimu Kanyamisovu Nixon Enterprise Limited. You allocated 414,656. You paid advance payment of 82,921 was made. However, no site possession, meaning that there was no one to give the auditors these documents. All of them, there are 6 projects. No documentation, nothing. So how do we ascertain that the works were done? We are consoled to hear that no much has been done in MWINILUNGA because you were giving monies without really proper expectation that the project will be completed and handed over. You were just sharing across. Whoever comes, oh, you want to build something, councillor comes, or WDC, give him 200. How much is remaining? Give him 300. Without understanding to say, this money we have given, a project to be done and completed. And now you are left with so many projects which are hanging. Further, you have decided now, instead of finishing those projects, 2025, you have said we are not going to do to complete those projects. We are just going to buy earth-moving equipment. Now, these people of MWINILUNGA who have been expectant to get their health posts, when they see other councils, other districts commissioning, they can't commission their projects in MWINILUNGA because of you failing to give professional and technical advice to the CDF committees. Because if you stood your ground to say, CDF committee, for us, this project has been costed. The BOQs are here. The BOQs are telling us 800,000 kwacha. So this 200 cannot finish this project. But you failed. Let me ask AG's office what they found on the staff. AG's office.
Thank you, Chair. I'll ask my colleague to just clarify on the staff that they worked with.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. When we went to MWINILUNGA, I think in the first week, yes, the head of procurement was not there. But from that time up to the end of the audit, the lead was there. Then the man also was acting as assistant procurement officer was also there. Then the man was acting as director engineering, who is a senior buildings officer. The officer who is behind there was also there. When it comes to possession of documents when you are handling contracts, what is the standard is that accounts is going to have a full file for a project. Procurement full file of a project, and when I say full file, you are going to have adverts, everything up to the contract plus all the other documents that you give to the contractor, or instructions. You are going to have that file. That is what we expected under the engineering department and also under procurement. Then the issue that we thought they would have explained was about the contracts. I think they overcommitted themselves as compared to the staff which was there. Chair, if you look at the projects, 2022, they had 42. Then when you look at 2023, they again approve 18. That is 60, where you are having a senior buildings inspector heading the department and is alone. I submit, Chair.
Procurement, you were there. How true is it? Yes or no?
Like earlier mentioned, the first week when the auditors came, I was not around. And I think in the second week, that's when I'd reported.
Were the auditors there when you reported?
Yes, Chair.
Why didn't you give the vital information?
The information, Chair, was given given to them by my assistant, because he was the one that had been there when they were coming. So to me, what I knew is that all the information that was requested had been given to them by the assistant procurement officer.
You just
Chair.
assumed?
Yes, Chair.
You didn't, but how would you say the information was given when you didn't confirm? The Director of Finance, do we have? Yes. What the auditors are saying, is that a standard that all the documents pertaining to projects, you also need to keep a copy?
Yes, it's true, Chair.
It is a standard?
Yes.
Were you there in 2023?
Yes, I was there.
Did you keep a file?
Unfortunately, I didn't have everything because the numbers that were printed was not adequate. So
who was supposed to give you?
I was supposed to get from procurement.
You were supposed to get?
Yes, Chair.
Why didn't you get them?
They didn't have enough copies, so I was depending on their copies.
There are no photocopiers These are serious matters. Well, you see, if you look at this report, I've just ended that it's a very bad report. And generally, it is sad to see a council that has not done much in project implementation. You had 42 projects in 2022. Some of them have not been completed. True or false? True. Then you embarked on 18 again in 2023. Some of them are not implemented. True. Then in 2024, I'm sure you had other projects which are not even implemented again, fully implemented. True. Then you are going to buy equipment. So what have you done for the people of MWINILUNGA? These audits are serious matters. When you hear auditors are coming, some people don't even eat. To ensure that you work closely with them to clear all the issues that have been happening. But you, a finance man who can't keep documents, procurement had half-baked information. But what have you been doing? That's why it's true now. We take it in our report that most of these, you are giving contracts without even following the procedure. How do you give a contract without these documents that are necessary? If she didn't have. The picture that the council secretary gave is very wrong, very contradictory to what the auditors have said. The council secretary gave with the confidence that the procurement was on leave, the assistant was on leave, the other person was not competent, so we couldn't give the documents. Now we have found them. But now the auditors are saying that she was present the second week. And they have even indicated, according to standard, that's what I'm saying, what is happening in local government? A director of finance, who is the chief advisor, financial advisor to the council secretary, to the council, should have all the necessary documents, and he is supposed to check this payment I'm paying, this contractor. What are the documents? One document is missing. I cannot pass it. Can I have the other document? That's how local government is supposed to run. Director of Finance, do you understand?
I understand, Chair.
But why don't you do the correct things? What is the basis of assessment? Not your qualifications. This, for me, when I see this report and now I look at you, oh, that is the Director of Finance. I judge you by this. Oh, that is the Council Secretary. I judge you by this. That's why some people are saying that before, way some years back, people with basic qualifications were doing very well in the councils. That's why you see the Civic Center of Lusaka is still there without cracks. The ones we do now with our qualifications, check them. So, this is what it is. Dr. Manzo?
Okay, so we just sample one of the projects whose documentation was not provided at the time of
just one. We move to another one.
Yes, because they have said that the management has since then provided all the information, and then so we go to project which is on page 2, number 4.
Page 2, number 4.
Yeah. There are 6 projects, Chair, altogether. Now, project number 4, which is construction of classroom block at Mbaya Primary School. The contractor is Calcom, Zambia Limited, at a contract sum of 450,000. And then what is missing by the time of audit was that what I got was 109,022 kwacha was advance payment, no contract, no bill of quantity, no site possession certificate, no solicitation documents, advertisement, bid submission. All these documents were not provided. Now, this particular project is under in the main submission on page 6. It is also a query. So we go to page 6. This is a 2022 project, funded project, construction of 1x3 classroom block at Mbaya Primary School. So the contract sum 436,086 kwacha. Completion period 3 months, and the contractor was paid 157,000 by December 2023, 657, representing 36% of the contract sum, and the balance, leaving a balance of 278.
You are still flipping, looking for page 6. We want you to be following.
Yes. Are you there? Okay, so the balance was 278,428. This project at Mbaya, 1x3 classroom block at Mbaya Primary School, Chair, was terminated. The contract was terminated on 4th December 2023. And the latest is that management wishes to indicate that I think the project is currently on procurement stage. The action taken, so the last statement, the project is currently on procurement stage, meaning the funds for 2022, and then the contractor was engaged at 436,000 kwacha. Contractor didn't perform. Contract terminated in December 2023. Terminating the contract December 2023, and then the contractor is not, the project is under procurement.
Procurement officer.
25, we are told that.
What did you mean by this project, that it's on procurement stage? This is 2025. This is a 2022 project. What is the story around this project?
Chair, so when the project was terminated, we re-advertised it for us to award it as a full contract. But it was a failed procurement in that the amount that was available and the amount that was bidded for, the amount that was bidded for was above the amount that was available. Therefore, engineering department has advised that we can take it up as a labor-based, because looking at the amounts that are available. That report of the evaluation committee, which was a failed procurement, is actually in the addendum that has been provided.
So, if we failed to get a contractor, you want now to share that money, if I can use that word, under force account. Force account has failed. Whether even the money is adequate, using labor base, it has failed. So what did you want to do? And this is the crisis. Now, I want to ask procurement. This project was supposed to be done using concrete blocks. There are about 3 projects I've read, 3 or 4. Most of them have been abandoned. The contract was concrete blocks, but the contractor uses bent bricks. There is another one, I don't know which one, concrete blocks prescribed, and they sign the contract, then they use bent bricks. Even one of them is on a foundation. They're using foundation, building foundation using bent bricks. Where was the engineering? And why did you allow a contractor using bent bricks instead of blocks which were prescribed in the tender document? Council Secretary and your team.
Okay, Chair, I would allow my predecessor to respond on that one.
Chair, thank you so much. I will ask the then Senior Building Inspector to help in providing a response, as well as the Procurement Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. All the BOQs that were prepared by then under 2022 reflected to be using concrete blocks. But then, I think by then I was not really in charge of the department. But what was pertaining is that, you know, MWINILUNGA, the setup of MWINILUNGA is that the nearest place that you get blocks is Solwezi. So there was an instruction that was given to all bidders that they use bent bricks.
Where is that instruction? And who gave that instruction?
Chair, the Director Engineering, the current Director Engineering can guide.
Thank you, Chair. The director by then had to write that site instruction to change the material. I think I came across some documents where that instructions were made to the contractors.
Is that the way of doing things? Someone bidding, concrete block is higher in price than a bent brick. So what was the financial loss or gain, especially loss from the council, and how did it apply to the project?
Thank you, Chair. I think using the experience and knowledge that I've gained for this short period that I've stayed in MWINILUNGA, I would say to start with, the projects were undercosted, and I think even that shift of material, I would say it was okay, because definitely with the blocks and stuff, the projects were not going to move as where we have reached them. That's,
professionally, you are supposed to have costed that.
Yeah.
After costing it, you know how much you are going to gain from the works. For instance, if a project under concrete block
yeah,
to be done by concrete block was 300, then you know that you are not going to get concrete block, which is maybe 15,000 kwacha or 15 kwacha per block. A brick is 50 kwacha or less than that. You are supposed to quantify that and do a variation. To gain, you are supposed now to say the works which were supposed to be done at 300, now they will be done at 350, and you monitor the what. That is supposed to be done. Did you do that? Let me ask AG's office. They wanted to make a comment. It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
Did you do that?
Thank you, Chair. Of course, this is supposed to be asked by because I am just barely 8 months old in the district. I was answering according to what I have seen as an engineer in the district, and probably the conditions that should have led to this. I should also be able to...
But do you agree with
I agree very well with what you are saying. When you are changing from material, because these materials have got different values, and of course when you are changing, there should be some increase on the other side or some reduction depending on which direction you are taking. Yeah, that is very, very true. But I'm made to understand that for that particular, they were using a drawing, some drawings and BOQs which were made by the ministry. So I think when they were doing it, it was supposed to be changed to suit the environment in which the projects were supposed to be implemented. The materials were supposed to be changed at BOQ level so that contractors are able to quote according to that. So that was done, and I think afterwards...
That was not done.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, the change was not done, but of course the project was advertised and stuff. So I think after realizing, that's why there was that instruction. The other thing was not taken care of. I don't know, maybe my colleague there can say, but basically there was an error in that. That I admit. That I admit.
Dr. Manza, we have a team. Let me just switch off your mic. We have a team that I think the report is bad. You can ask. There's nothing that we are going to get. So I ask you to make a short one. We have another witness waiting. So we are not going to get anything from this team. They are admitting things are not going very well, and the picture in MWINILUNGA is gloomy. We are not going to get any responses because there are so many we have marked here.
Okay, I'll just maybe clarification. What was who was the contractor at Mbaya Primary School, the 1x3 classroom block? And at what price? Was the
Chair, the contractor was Kakom Zambia Limited, and the project, the contract sum was 450,000 quite.
To do a 1x3?
Yes, Chair. I think just as is explained,
yes,
we had issues of
to do a 1x3.
Yes, Chair.
But your presentation, the contract with Mbaya is at 400, and you can check appendix appendix this big document. It's difficult to check the number of this appendix. I think it is 1 point what?
The appendix number is appendix 1.4, Chair.
1.4, yes, is a contract. This contract, Carcom, Zambia Limited, the contract sum is 436,086 kwacha, 33. How do you explain that? You are saying, what do you want your committee to take, 450 or 436?
Chair, I wish to ask the procurement officer to provide a response to that question. Thank you.
Procurement?
Yes, Chair. So the 450,000 is what was approved by the CDFC committee for this project, but the contract was awarded at 436,000, Chair.
Was it a phased project?
Yes, Chair, I submit.
Okay, but the presentation is misleading because you are saying the contract sum is 450. Okay, talk about the procurement process now, because these are the documents that the auditors want. You are supposed to provide the auditors with these documents, and now you have provided. This CARCOM contractor, I can see you have given us an addendum. Addendum, if we go to addendum page 6, addendum appendix 6. Appendix 6, this other document, yeah? This other document, appendix number 6, has the procurement process of 1x3 classroom block at Mbaya. Are we talking about the same site here in this, on appendix 6? This, are we there? Appendix 6.
Yes, Chair, we are there.
Okay, so here, appendix 6, tender for the construction of 1x3 classroom block at Mbaya Primary School. Is it the same site and the same project?
Yes, Chair, it is the same site. This is the one the procurement officer said after it was re-advertised, it became a failed project.
You go through your evaluation process. This evaluation process, the process is you evaluated the best bidder as the basis, something like faith of basis, given the recommendation on page 9. No, it is on page 10. It is recommended that human resource manager be granted authority of the MWINILUNGA Town Council Procurement Committee to award the contract for the tender for the Mbaya Primary School on the Faith be awarded to Faith at a contract sum of 706,136. So,
are you there?
Is the recommendation matching with what you are saying, that it was a failed bid?
I'll ask the procurement to give further explanation.
Chair, the recommendation does match. So these reports are system-based. When you evaluate, the report is going to generate a system based on the evaluation. But what we also looked at the end of the day was the amount that was allocated. So when this report was taken to Procurement Committee, the Procurement Committee advised that this contract could not be awarded at that 702 because the only amount that was available for this project was a 470,000 kwacha. 450 kwacha I submit.
We have to look at time. You are not going to extract anything.
The balance, you actually confirmed that most of the projects were underquoted. So this is an example. Mbaya was underquoted. It was given at 486 and the contract was abandoned, terminated. There was a balance of about 278,000 kwacha. There you did a re-evaluation and re-tendering, and you came up with a reasonable cost estimate, which was around 700. And through this best evaluated bidder, you take it to the tender committee, CDFC. You're supposed to seek for more funding, and you had an opportunity because this was in May 2024. May 2024, on 14th May 2024. So you still had an opportunity through the 2024 CDF budget to add 300,000 kwacha to this Mbaya project. But now the result, what is the result now? It is under procurement, and it will be only be considered in 2026. So, but they still have that money. Do you still have that money for the 400 that you're talking about?
Chair, yes, the balances on the projects is still available.
You know, the third situation, just before I came in, I was with the Minister of Law Government. Some councils are asking for money. Of course, genuine claims that they have done the works, majority of the councils. But you as MWINILUNGA, you still have monies for 2022, which were pending in different projects sitting. And the Minister of Law Government currently, they have over 400, is it 400 million or 4 million? 400 million, still in council's accounts, unutilized, and the councils are claiming for more money. And this money that is sitting, the balances on this, one of them Mbaya from MWINILUNGA, is going to sit there up to 2026 because you cannot use it. That's the implication. If you have poor project management, this money, the small amounts that are sitting in these accounts, we're going to sit in this, in the MWINILUNGA accounts, CDF accounts, up to 2026 December, because for 2025, you have already procured the graders or machinery. So the 2026 procurement that is going to be done in January 2026, you are starting in November, December. So this money will be sitting there, although it has been mobbed. It is sitting on the accounts of MWINILUNGA. That's the very unfortunate thing. So you see, these are weaknesses that you are able to see. We are meeting with your commission to see how they can help. Is it the issue of competences on the part of MWINILUNGA? It's an issue of just a different culture that is obtaining there. Because officers who are competently qualified are supposed to guide. These councils you see which are doing very well, they guide, we can do this. And today I was this other tall MP from Western Province. Not Sioma. Eh? Eh? No. Sioma, there's another one, is what? Skongo? Skongo is who? The MP for Skongo. He's going to hand over 23 projects next week. 23 should be Skongo. When did we last invite the ministry, the government to invite to hand over projects in MWINILUNGA? How many were they? Those are the questions, yes. And it may be a question that I may ask you as we conclude. If it's a short one, it's a short one.
I want to seek clarification. I've seen on advertisement for these projects in MWINILUNGA, Baya construction of 1x3 classroom block. There is an advertisement request for quotation, which is under appendix 1.5. You are saying in your advertisement, you are saying the site visit date was okay. Different projects at different dates, site visits. So for this Mbaya, it was 6 January 2023. That was the site visit date.
Doc, short one.
Now, the deadline to submit these bids is 18th January 2022. So you ask bidders to submit the bids on 18th January 2022, whilst the site visit is in January 2023.
Procurement.
This was an artificial advertisement that was sent to all bidders. It is on. Are you there? The document. You seen the document? Just
let's ask her to read. Let her own it.
Yes, check it.
Procurement. Switch off your mic. Procurement. Are you there?
After the contract between, it was signed 2nd May 2023 between from Mbaya Primary School. And so the whole contract document, the last 2 pages.
Who has seen it? CS. You haven't seen it? Former CS, Director Engineering. You seem to be there. Doc, let them respond. Eh?
I read.
Yes, read. But you would have loved the procurement, the one who does. Give her your document. She's still perusing.
No, I've seen it.
Okay, can you read for us on the dates especially?
Okay, so the date for the site visit date from Mbaya was 6th January 2023.
Yes.
Then
the closing date for bid submission was 18th January 2022 before 17 hours.
So what does it mean?
Chair, I think this was just a typo, because even when you check the inquiry number, these adverts were issued in 2022, so I suspect this was just a typing
You suspect
error, Chair.
if you don't know, what more this committee?
No, Chair, it was just a typing error.
How? These documents come from, these are legal documents. You're dealing with the public. The council secretary signed, eh? You signed, sir. You were comfortable and you were satisfied that all was well.
Chair, that just as submitted by the procurement officer, it was a typo, Chair.
How? How? She saw, you didn't see it yourself? You don't proofread. You just sign anything that comes.
I do proofread, Chair, but I think it was just...
It was what? You see, us when we look at you, we look at these documents. That's when we're able to tell. This is speak for you. If that was an issue, today we were dealing with a contract signed on the same day, 16th April 2025. Different works to be done at one site. Completion certificates are signed before the contracts are signed. That's what is happening in councils. A completion certificate is signed in February, then the contract is signed in April. We had another council. These are realities. This is what is happening here. We are live and people are watching. One council in Northern, is it Northern, where Kasama is, a document dated July 30th, 2025. You bring them. Today, what you say, we apologize, this must have been a typo. 3-4 people going through a document, a legal document. This is what it tells the story. What we are. This is what defines you. No any other thing. So we wanted just to demonstrate to you. This one is one of the bad reports. I didn't want to use waste. If you look, I already one. If you read them, a contract done, no variation done, to be done in concrete blocks. Yes, you know there are no concrete blocks, but you don't use your heart. You don't use your what? These are government offices. You have to make adjustments on the BOQs so that the contractors are given. In MWINILUNGA, we don't have blocks. We are going to do bent bricks, and the value accrues to the council. That is not done. Documents, contractual documents are not done. Advice are not given, are not shown. But today you want to come with them. So even those documents, to check them, you say, I think this was a typo, because you just make them to come and answer this committee. So this is not a good situation. That I've been comforted and I've withheld my emotions, because you told me that actually there's nothing much happening, because you are just sharing the monies. Here, you cannot do a big hole at 400,000. If it is a hole, you cannot do a health post at 277,000. It tells a story. So, you technocrats, you have failed the people of MWINILUNGA. VAT, irregular charge of VAT. These letters, failure to claim liquidated damages and determination from termination. Letters were done on the 1st and the 3rd March for contracts of 2022-2023. If you go to Appendix 2, on page 3, irregular charge of VAT, meaning the Director of Finance doesn't understand is what. And if you look at the response, irregular payment of allowances to conduct due diligence. You carry people who are not even irrelevant to the process. You go, we are conducting due diligence. Then you give allowances. The people who should go there are the people who are competent. You carry people who are not even competent to do what? Because it's just a conduit of getting money. Who else can go? Those who are talkative, can talk much, let's go also. Then you get money from CDF. How much it is? 35,560 for officers. How many nights? You know better. Construction of 1x3 classroom block at Mbaya, we have just talked about it. There are so many issues here that you see. We are worried, but you have consoled us. Selection of ineligible learners. This has been resolved. I can go on and on. It's sad. Now, what value do you, the new council secretary, bring? Do you have a team that is going to change the situation there at MWINILUNGA? We know MWINILUNGA has 21 wards. It's a big, one of the biggest. But even other constituencies with the big wards, but you see systems running. If you have a system and a team of technocrats who are going to advise us, we do the correct thing. Because people are excited, they are not seeing any project. Now you tell them, we have shifted, hold on. It's like there's nothing that you have done for them. We are going to buy earth-moving equipment. Even those machinery, you buy them, for them to see the value from them. It is not 2025. Maybe towards 2026, maybe because of the rains. So, if you, I wanted to ask this, MWINILUNGA, if you say CDF is a game changer, what would you point to? What has really changed for the people of MWINILUNGA from 2022, from the project management system that you have employed in MWINILUNGA? If we are going to ask you, me, I will comfortably tell you that today they were doing over 30 projects, 2024, 2025, which are safe. By next week, procurement, those projects are running, and every month we are handing over. I'm a proud member of parliament, and CDF is a game changer. You can ask your friend, Council Secretary Walia. If you go to Kaumbwe, they are handing over. Dundumwezi, they are handing over. I've told you, all the councils. Now, MWINILUNGA, if you are going to say, yes, what would you point to? If you say CDF is a game changer, the way you have been managing. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Maybe I allow my predecessor to respond on how CDF has performed from 2022, then I'll respond on the way forward.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chair.
Where are you now?
I'm in Shangombo, Chair.
You have seen how Shangombo is shining?
Yes, Chair.
Don't take the bad things there. Shangombo is one of the best. If you don't know, now we should know. Shangombo is one of the shining in terms of shining councils, in terms of implementation of CDF. We pray and we have marked you. If we see anything going down in Shangombo, then it is you, sir. The beauty about local government is, you see, the way I am, wherever I go, I will replicate what I am. That's a beauty about life. That's a beauty about life. Wherever you go, it shows your type of leadership. It's our prayer as a committee that what you found in Shangombo, it continues. So tell us about.
Chair, thank you so much. Thank you for that council. Yes, indeed, the CDF is a game changer, like in MWINILUNGA. Chair, I will start with the empowerment. under grants chair, we have a number of clubs that whose livelihood actually, in terms of their members, has changed. Some are producing chickens, some are keeping goats, and some have gone into farming. So those, even when it comes to hosting of an agricultural show, those are the ones that we see actually displaying their produce or what they actually produce. Then the other thing, Chair, is it's a game changer in that it has empowered the locals to preside over decisions that concern their local economic development. We'll talk of the CDF committee. It's a committee comprising of local residents. We'll talk of the WDC as the governance structures that are used to receive applications or other proposals which are escalated to the CDF committee and subsequently approved, and we see the implementation of projects. In terms of community projects, Chair, there are a number of projects that have actually been implemented and commissioned. Some are in use just as presented in the report. I'll give an example of maternity annex, classroom blocks, provision of desks for pupils that were initially not sitting accordingly or comfortably, but all those have been provided as a result of CDF. So indeed it's a game changer, just to mention a few. Thank you so much.
No, we want to thank you for that, but what we wanted to see is a lot of community projects. There is a gap, and the CDF, enhanced CDF came as a solution to those challenges. So wanted to see more community projects. Desks are there, we have seen. Grants are given. Loans you are not recovering. We have seen. A report on loans is very bad. CS, as you conclude, what's your comment on the...
Thank you very much, Chair. You asked me, do I have a team to put things in order? The answer is yes, Chair. There is a team in place that will change things around. As indicated in our report, I think we've received adequate human resource. In engineering, it is well packed, and the Local Government Service Commission has...
Procurement, are you comfortable with what she's doing?
Chair...
I know it's not for you to mention. We are sorry. We just wanted to say, are you comfortable? Yes, if you are comfortable, yes. It's not for...
I'm coming to that, Chair.
You can't say it. That
Chair.
Same muntu agulisa manashanga nzenda mkombolet mashanga si ayaka. Hadi wonsa kama di mashanga yaka bani ngolo si ayaka. So
Chair, in summary, procurement
meaning that those who sell charcoal, I'm just using them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Those who are selling charcoal, anyone who is selling merchandise, there's no one who is going in the compounds telling the people that no, my charcoal is not good charcoal. That's what the language that we use. They will not say my charcoal is not good charcoal. Even if the charcoal is not good, is from the other trees, you know, the mbula trees. They don't give you good fire. But they will say this is the best. So we are just saying that. The question is not for you to say, yes, we are happy that engineering is now full-fledged. But we would be happy to see a cadre, a team that is going to tell the CDF committee that, sir, we cannot do this. The engineers' estimates are this. For us to complete like our friends are doing, we need so much. We need to buy such equipment, and you are moving. People, that's the thing that we want. So we just wanted to get your comment. Yes, you have a team. We are happy because we need a good team in MWINILUNGA, so that we see things move like the way they are moving in Shangombo, the way they are moving in Mitete, the way they are moving in Itezitezi, the way they are moving in Dundumwezi, Kaumbwe, and other councils. So we want it to happen, because the report that you came with in 2023, no, this one is a bad report. Go and recover the loans. Loans, whoever has gotten money, the minister has made it very clear using whatever means, collect, let people pay. It is not the bank. The bank is just used. It's us who know them. Do you have a planner here?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We have a plan.
Planner and your team, intensify, director finance, join, make sure that people pay back the loans. That is a revolving fund you use to pay others. Your friends are collecting. Why are you failing? So, in short, council secretary, the basis of your assessment for us to say we have a very good council secretary there, we have a very good engineer, is these reports. So if these reports are speaking the opposite, whatever you may say, and I can assure you what I've told you is not being unfair, you follow officers. There's one officer now, he's a council secretary for Mwense. Follow him. Wherever he has passed, he has a record. That's the secret of life. If you're a number 9, you are used to scoring. Whichever team you join, you score. So these transfers, sometimes they expose you, but you can do the best. I would like to withdraw the immunity that was earlier conferred on you. You go back, see as you're a new person, put your house in order, pick pieces from what you have learned from here. We want to wish MWINILUNGA the best, so the people there, they see why CDF has been given to us by our beloved president, to change the lives of the people. With that said, from now on you are on your own. Wish you well as you go back.
Thank you very much for your hosting and council.
Thank you very much for still watching Parliament TV, the station that is dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. That was a submission from MWINILUNGA Town Council. Remember, the council was led by the Council Secretary, Mr. Joseph Kanyemba, and they made a submission to the local government accounts. And remember that this committee is actually considering the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. And from that submission, the chairperson did note that there were a number of issues challenges that the council was facing, among them procurement irregularities, failure to recover liquidated damages, irregular VAT charges, and abandoned projects. And of course, the chair did mention to the council that it has to mitigate these issues, and some of the measures that it can put in place are financial recovery measures, of course, enhanced oversight, tax compliance, and indeed compliance with procurement laws. And in concluding, the chairperson did say that the council has to reinforce its operational and financial frameworks so that there is accountability, and in doing so, it's going to restore the confidence in public resource management. So those are some of a summary of what the chair and of course the committee observed from MWINILUNGA Town Council. So I hope that you, our dear viewer, is indeed enjoying the deliberations and following these deliberations on Parliament TV. So we do have a last witness who's expected to make a submission to the committee, and this is Kalomo Town Council making a reappearance. Remember, it had appeared before the committee but was sent away because the report was not so accepted. So it is making a reappearance